Hello everyone, it's Kay here again. I've just got a little something that I think may be helpful to people who like to use tassels in their work. I stumbled across this idea some time ago and it's not original. I'm sure there are lots and lots of different ways to make these things, but Gary and I put our heads together and brainstormed and came up with this little tassel maker, which obviously, depending upon size, depends upon the size of tassel that you come up with. But originally I just wanted a tassel long enough to go onto a card or onto a smaller project. So this is just over 2 inches or just over 6 centimeters by 2 1/4 inches or 5.5 centimeters, 55, yeah, 5.5 centimeters. And all that you need is to have, I mean, this is made out of just a little bit of wood. It does need to be firm, but I'm sure you could, if you had some very thick card that you layered up to get very, very firm, you could do with card. This top bit actually makes the fold of the tassel. This little avenue here allows you to work and finish a tassel, and then you would use the deeper end to cut through to give the tassel fringe. So without further ado, I'll show you how it works, and it is very, very simple. I've just got some ordinary crochet cotton here, but obviously the finer the thread you use, the finer your tassel will end up. And you literally just hold on to that bottom piece and start to wrap your yarn around the gizmo until you're happy with the thickness. And it really is as quick and as simple as what I'm doing here. Right, I think that might just about, a couple more maybe, if you like them quite full. That will do it. Then you cut off a reasonable length of yarn, thread up a nice wide, easy to handle sewing needle. This one is as old as the hills. I use it for everything, but it has got, if you can see, that beautifully wide eye because I'm blind as a bat, basically. And you thread your needle, you bring the thread through to what would be either the front or the back of your work, depending on how you view it, and you just, starting at the bottom, bring the thread around, pulling it quite firmly, and you work up layer after layer toward the inner aspect. Oh, my needle's come unthreaded, that's no good. 2 seconds. 3 hours if it was a smaller eye. You just keep working toward the top aspect of this little gizmo. If you've got a nice husband at home that's got a little bit of wood free, it really is as basic as that. Or you could, for a small price, leave me a message and Gary would make one for you, and then it would just be your postage and packaging. I'm just now working through the ties that I've put around, and I like to wrap the thread around a couple of times just to keep it really, really secure, because at the end of the day it's that little run of thread that keeps the top part of your tassel in order. And then you very carefully, and it does take a bit of doing because this is quite firm, but this is why you need the rounded edges on the bottom. You work this a little bit toward the edge, which makes it a lot easier. I'm going to trim that one off so it's out of the way. We don't need it any longer. I'm going to re-thread my needle with, I don't know, a double thickness, say a 12" of thread. You won't need that much. And then fold it in half, tie a knot on the bottom, a good secure knot, because this is what's going to hold the looped aspect of the tassel together. Pull it good and tight, and then with your needle, if you start at the bottom and try and be sure that you've got it through all of the threads that you've put on, you thread that through the top loop, the shorter of the two sides, and pull, and as you pull that's going to come off, but don't worry, whilst it's still on the bottom here, get your scissors in any which way you can before it comes off altogether. Then you are pretty sure of getting it around the halfway mark. And then what I like to do is, whilst this is still in shape from having been on the little spool thing, I like to go around a couple of times at the top there, just to try and get that knot in underneath, and through again. I then like to run this just underneath that little round to secure the top part of the tassel. You can then cut that off, give yourself a good little length, again tie a double knot at the top just by winding the thread twice through the loop. Some people call it a surgeon's knot. And there is the hanger for your tassel. What I also do at this point is move my centre up toward the top a little bit, just to keep it all in place. Now that is a bit Raggedy Ann because I didn't take my time with it. I'll just trim that a bit. These scissors you could ride to China on and still not cut your bottom. However, she's done it. But to me that makes quite a knacky little tassel that you could put on, just fluff it up a bit, that you could put on any project using any colours that you can get your hands on. I use cross-stitch threads, anything like that that you can find in abundance in the charity shops very, very reasonably. So, you know, I just hope that's helpful to you. And as I say, if you would be interested in one of these little gizmos...
50p.
Gary's saying 50p with your postage and packaging.
So
because it's
£1.50.
£1.50 altogether, he thinks, but obviously it depends where you are. But it's entirely up to you. It's not here, it's not been done to generate that kind of thing. This is just to show you how jolly easy it can be to make your own little tassel. And for these from some of the shops you'll spend as much as £4.99 for 4 little tassels, and you can do it yourself very, very reasonably and quickly. Thank you very much for watching, ladies. Take care. Bye bye.